All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Bob Doyle, if we have not met before, and I am beyond excited to be able to facilitate this sort of little workshop with you today, especially if you are brand new to breathwork. If you have never done breathwork before, I'm super excited, but if you've done other modalities and you're new to the Soma protocol, which is what we're going to be talking about today, then I especially welcome you too, because I've tried a few things too, and this is my favorite, and I'm enthusiastic about sharing it with you as we talk about breathing into abundance. So let me kind of just go over the flow of what we're going to do today, to set some expectations. So first of all, before we do any sort of like a meditation session, when you get into doing this breath work regularly, which I'm convinced you will do because it's so freaking awesome, you're going to want to go into these sessions with some sort of an intention, because we're really setting ourselves up for some serious brain rewiring here, and you're going to put yourself in this awesome state to be receptive to these types of suggestions and more positive thoughts and wiring in there. So we want to set an intention of what are we going to bring into this session. Then I want to talk about, well, why Soma? Why am I talking about this at all? Why did I choose to take some time out of your day to share this thing with you? And then what is Soma all about anyway? Is there a history, or did I just make this stuff up? And then we're going to prepare to do some actual breath work with a little bit of movement and some vocalizing through chanting. Now, before you start running away, no one has to turn on their camera for this, and no one has to turn on their microphone for this. And in fact, it would be best if you didn't, so that everybody could just stay focused on what they're doing and participating full out without worrying about being self-conscious. So I'm not going to ask anybody, because I would, if I were you, I'd turn my camera off. But certainly when we get to the chanting part, we don't need everybody chanting into the microphone. I'm even going to turn mine off for reasons I will explain later, and it has nothing to do with the quality of my voice. And then we're going to get into the actual breathwork journey itself, and as I know what you all came up here for. So what is the intention for today? Well, I figured let's go for abundance, right? Abundance. It's a big one. Everybody, who doesn't want more abundance? But it's interesting because abundance does have different meanings and different connotations and evokes different feelings. Just the concept of it evokes different feelings. So what we want to do today is wire in some really, really good feelings about abundance and actually what abundance really means to you from a feeling point of view. So that's the intention for today. So let's talk about why Soma. Why am I so off the chain excited about this particular breathing technique? All right, well, if you don't know, I was one of the featured teachers in the film and book The Secret, which was a 2005-2006 project that was about the law of attraction, basically creating your life by design, being intentional about how you experience life. And it made quite a splash, and people who had never heard of the law of attraction or even personal development, or this idea that they could actually have some control over the direction of their lives. I mean, it was a big freaking deal for a lot of people. And there were a lot of naysayers too. And what also happened was that everybody and their grandmother in the personal development industry suddenly was an expert. So just a little bit of backstory. I had been teaching the law of attraction online for about 3 years when Rhonda Byrne, who produced The Secret, reached out to me to ask me to participate. And there were just like a handful of people really focusing on this particular subject at this time. But after The Secret came out, a lot of people started focusing on it. And, honestly, it was a money grab because it was so freaking hot. The law of attraction and The Secret, and like, how do I make this work? And so people were willing to just buy anything. And as a result, they bought anything. And there was a lot of stuff out there that didn't have any real science to it. It was just sort of regurgitating some magical thinking around it. And it's not to say that manifesting and how this all works doesn't occur as sort of magical sometimes, but people had really come to depend on the law of attraction being a magical thing. And so no matter how much science you try to tell them or how practical you try to make it, or take the woo-woo, if you will, out of it, they really wanted it in there, and it caused a lot of confusion because they wanted to get the woo-woo right. Why isn't this working? Am I not meditating long enough? Oh no, I had a negative thought and it hardly screwed things up. Is my vision board right? I mean, these are the types of things. And then I would get questions like, what do I got to do to win the lottery? And can I make myself grow a foot taller? And I'm like, okay, we're losing focus here. And basically, people are trying to use the law of attraction to change the outside world, right? Like, I want this person to do that, and I want this money to come to me this way, and I want, changing out there. When it's here that it all needs to change, because if you think about it, our entire experience of reality is being filtered through our brain. And it's the wiring of our brain that determines the quality of our experience because of the meaning that we're making it. And that is why I have really shifted my attention and my focus professionally and education-wise to neuroplasticity, and let's just get in there and change the brain, and then the law of attraction will take care of itself. But when you're so focused on getting the law of attraction right and all these processes, and it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And believe me, 20 years I've been doing this and watching this happen. And once I started coaching people and teaching people around brain rewiring and just doing specific things to change the wiring of your brain, transformation happened a lot faster. And I can tell you it's going to stick a lot more too, because we're actually changing the wiring of our brain and not just acting off of a few neurotransmitters that were, fired off when we were excited about a weekend seminar or a book or a movie or whatever. So this is way more science oriented, and I really, really like that. And so I'm always on the lookout for things that are going to help the rewiring process, aside from just, sending yourself new thoughts on an ongoing basis and trying to eliminate the old habitual, negative thinking or limited thinking. There are other things that can help the biological piece of this. And now, all of this is happening at the same time that I'm sort of gaining an interest in breath work in general. I had tried a few other techniques. I'd gone to a workshop and I really, really loved the feeling of it, but I didn't really know too much about it. I just knew I was just following instructions and getting into it and really liking it, but not really thinking that it would be something I would pursue. However, as luck would have it, fate, coincidence, attraction, if you will, I started seeing posts on Facebook from this dude here, Niraj Naik, and the Soma breathwork practice. And so one day there was a little ad or whatever for a free master class. So I jumped over here and I took that free master class, and that was it. No looking back. Because I learned enough about this process that this is an absolutely essential tool, I think, in the neuroplasticity toolkit. If you want to change your brain, if you want to change your brain, why not do something on an ongoing basis that actually really helps that? And that's just the beginning. That is just the beginning of some of the benefits here. The neurogenesis piece, the ability to help you. Oh, we don't need two of me up there. The ability to help us change our brain is just part of it. Look at this. Whoops, sorry, I went one slide too far. So here are some of the benefits that this type of breathing, this particular protocol, can have for you. Enhanced learning and memory, lowering inflammation, which is a huge thing. Huge. Inflammation has so far-reaching implications in your body in the way that it makes you feel. Reducing cholesterol, reducing blood sugar levels. Folks, this is from breathing. Okay? Reducing blood pressure, increasing bone density, strengthening your immune system. Bob, you've got to be kidding. From breathing? No, I'm not kidding. Promoting weight loss, reducing symptoms of depression and improving heart health and increasing aerobic capacity, which of course makes sense because we're working on our breathing. Now, I gave you an early peek at this slide, so let's talk about what this means. This does not mean, the contraindications do not mean that you cannot participate today. There is one part of this breathing process where we are holding our breath. That's the part that is not, if you fall into any of these categories here, that you don't want to do. You can just keep continuing to breathe, as I will instruct you how to do. Very relaxing, and you'll still get a great deal of benefit from it. We just are asking that you don't do the breath hold section on this, but trust me, stick around. You will get great benefit from this. But if you have any of this COPD stuff, any critical diseases, if you just had any kind of big question mark here, pregnancy, cancer, epilepsy, these types of things, you just go get some permission before you do the breath hold part. That's really all we're asking here. Let me tell you a little bit about the legend of Soma, where this kind of all originated. All of this stuff is based on ancient stuff. I mean, a lot of yogic traditions and people much wiser than I am on all of this stuff. But there's a legend around this, whether or not it's true, I don't really know. But there was this plant or something, some sort of mystical plant that people would take, consume, a happy plant, if you will, that gave them access to this wisdom, to these downloads. And they really believed that there were just many far-reaching benefits. And this plant, they would consume it to have these experiences and to get this wisdom and to get this insight. Plants. You get what I'm talking about. But then, as legend would have it, they used it all up. Remember the dinosaurs show, Dinosaurs, where they used up all the happy plant? That's where I'm getting this. So they ate up all the happy plant. Well, now what do they got to do? Well, they decided to go inward. How can we produce this chemical that we're ingesting through this plant in our own bodies? And it was through this exploration that they learned, as we all know, and I love, and I talk about this all the time, that our body is such a pharmacy. And that we have the ability to create, and we do automatically, so much chemistry to deal with our everyday lives, but with a little bit of learning and a little bit of control, we can actually learn to produce some of these chemicals intentionally, including these chemicals that we're calling soma. Some have speculated that it's this DMT, but the common thread is it does provide this amazing sort of mystical experience. And we want to give you a little bit of taste of that. Now, the science of all this. Now, what you're going to notice is that this feels amazing. And there's a great reason for that. Is because it's really super good for your body. What feels really, really good when you're in this state of the breath hold that we're going to do is your tissues and your organs being flooded with oxygen. So how is this happening? And how does this breath work facilitate it? And why do we need to do this in the first place? Well, it's all built around the Bohr effect. So let's talk about what happens when you breathe. When you take in a breath, right, you bring in oxygen, right? We all know this. I don't even need to quiz you on this. You breathe in, oxygen. Now, what happens to that oxygen? Ooh, I don't know, Bob. It goes to your lungs or something? Right, and then what happens to the oxygen once you bring it into your lungs is it attaches to your red blood cells through hemoglobin. It attaches to the hemoglobin in your red blood. And it's if you do not have enough carbon dioxide in your system, that oxygen just stays stuck to your red blood cells and doesn't get into your organs and your tissues. And that's not a great thing. So this is sort of a diagram of this. Now, okay, so what controls this? What's the deal with the carbon dioxide? Well, we have been led to believe, my friends, that carbon dioxide is some sort of toxic gas that we got to get out of our system. Well, it's not. It's very important. And in some cases, it's more important and better for you than oxygen. It only becomes toxic at huge levels. Hugely huge. That's a scientific term. You can look it up. But because of the way that we, as Westerners, particularly breathe, we breathe so fast and irregularly that we don't actually have enough carbon dioxide in our system because we're breathing it out so fast. We're over-breathing, and so there's not enough carbon dioxide in our system to do its job. And one of the most important jobs it has is to help you release the oxygen that's stuck on that red blood cell so that it can get into your cells and tissues. Because if it doesn't, then your blood can get over-oxidated, and then we have problems. You've heard of oxidative stress and all sorts of things. So too much oxygen is not a good thing, right? We want it to be able to disperse through our body. And so what we do when we do this breathing, we're building up a lot of oxygen. It's attaching to our red blood cells. We can use a little device here that I'll show you in a second to actually register the blood percentage, the oxygen percentage in our blood. Now, normally, I meant to have this on. I can see if I can turn it on real quick while we're doing this here and get a reading. But normally, this is going to read between 96 and 99% oxygen in your. If you're relatively healthy and you've got a normal amounts of oxygen in your blood, and this is actually getting my reading right now, and it's probably all over the place because I'm doing in talking mode here. But generally speaking, between 96 and 99 is where I read. Now, after doing this process, however, and during this breath hold, you'll see here, this is a reading on my actual, this very device here, you'll see here, it's 96, if it'll focus in there, 96. It's green, so you can see through it. Got it down to 65. So the carbon dioxide has sort of taken over, and that's when the oxygen is flooding the organs, and that's when you get this amazing feeling, this transcendent feeling, this just freaking amazing feeling that you are going to want to come back to again and again. Okay, so now we want to get prepared for this breathing exercise, and so I told you we were going to do a couple of things. Let's talk about the core of this thing, which is the rhythmic breathing. Now, I was saying that if you have any of those contraindications, that the breath hold part that we're going to talk about, we don't want you to do right now. But the rhythmic breathing is good for one and all. And it basically just means that you're keeping a constant count. We're so used to just breathing erratically and too much this breathing pattern, we're going to breathe in a rhythm where there's a count off. You count in, you're going to breathe in for a certain amount of beats, and then you're going to breathe out for a certain amount of beats. And you're going to be listening to a recording, and it's going to be impossible for you to get behind because everything is done for you. You're going to be read. So it's very, very easy. Now, where you're breathing from is very important because so many people breathe from their chest. They're chest breathers, and they're breathing through their mouth. They're just not getting anything down in their diaphragm. They're stuck in their sympathetic nervous system. They're all just hyper because they're not breathing out. When you breathe in, it stimulates your sympathetic nervous system, which is active. And when you breathe out, it stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is for rest and digestion. And so if we're not breathing out enough, if we're not in our parasympathetic enough, then we get really agitated and feel stressful and frantic and all of that. So this rhythmic breathing brings us into this coherence. But we want to breathe from our diaphragm. And the way we want to, if you've never done this before, the way to kind of practice this, and it might take practice at first, is put your hand on your belly. And when you breathe, you want to breathe so that your belly expands, not your chest. So the way that we're going to be breathing is very cyclical. So you're going to start by breathing into your diaphragm and then fill sort of your chest. So you breathe in from your diaphragm. You feel your, I know I don't fit in there, but in this, but you can just put your hand on your belly. Your belly goes up, and then your chest goes up, and then you breathe out in a cycle. And you want it to be continuous. You want it to be an ongoing flow. So in and out smoothly like this. There's no stop. And we want to breathe in through the nose. And there are reasons for that too, in terms of it creates nitrous oxide. It warms the breath. There's just reasons, scientific reasons, to breathe in through the nose. And then for now, you can breathe out through your mouth. So on our inhales, you're going to breathe in through your nose and then immediately just out through your mouth. And you're relaxed. It's a nice, gentle, relaxed breath. You're not forcing. So it's not one of these, it's not that at all. You're just going to breathe in and then just let the breath come out. Okay. So now I found, and I think that you will find too, that you're going to start very gently. I hope you want to start very gently, but as the energy builds, you're going to find yourself sort of naturally maybe taking in more oxygen, and just go with what feels natural, but it should never feel forced, because we want this to be fun, first of all, and be relaxing and wonderful for you. And if it feels like, oh, I'm about to enter into this thing where I got to force all this, you're not going to want to do it. So just very gentle with yourself. Now, on the breath hold, so what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in rhythm for a few minutes. And you just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. And then after a time, you're going to be told to breathe out fully. You're going to take a full breath in and then full out. And this means all the oxygen out of your lungs. So you're going to be asked to breathe fully in, hold it for a moment, and then just let it all out, even to the extent where you push out with a little bit of a hiss so that your lungs are completely empty, and then you just hold your breath. And you're going to hold it for a long time. And if you've never done this before, it's going to shock you. Your body is going to tell you, oh my God, you need to breathe. Now, this is especially if this is the first time you've done this. You need to breathe. And you're going to be invited to push past that, because that's just your old wiring triggering, kicking in. But trust me, by this time, you have so much oxygen in your body, you won't need to breathe for a while. You're good. And in fact, as you hold your breath, now your carbon dioxide levels are going to build. That oxygen is going to be released into your tissues, and you're going to feel that flood. And it's just going to feel so, so good. And if you can focus your attention on how good that feels in various parts of your body that maybe need some healing or some attention, if you put your attention, your mental attention there instead of, oh my God, I need to breathe, you will find that you can breathe a lot longer. Now, at that first real big urge to breathe, you can take a sip of air like this, and then just breathe it all right out again, and then hold again. And for me, sometimes I go even deeper that second time. That second time, it feels even bigger, even more expansive, and you just hold it and you hold it. And you'll be instructed exactly when to breathe in and what to do. But if you ever are running out of oxygen, if you take a sip and then you blow out and you're feeling like I haven't asked you to breathe back in yet, fully breathe back in yet, just take another sip. Just keep that going. And you'll just be amazed at how wonderful that feels. And just know that you can go a lot further than you at first think. Okay, so pushing past your comfort zone on all of this is a good bit of this growth. That's what growth is all about. The other concept I want to share with you is pelvic squeeze. So the muscles that you contract, if you don't want, holding in your urine or whatever, you can call them Kegel exercises, that, the sphincter muscles, whatever, that contraction is a part of this process, and it shoots energy right up your spine and just through your very core. So when you inhale, you want to try to remember to squeeze your pelvic floor there during that inhale and then let it go when you breathe out. Now, that's a lot to remember this first time around. So if that's too much to incorporate into this, just focus on the breathing. Believe me, you're still going to get a lot out of it. This is just another aspect of awakening the energy in you with that squeeze. It is something that when we do that after you have held your breath for a while, and I ask you to breathe fully in, and you're holding now in as opposed to out, we're really going to have you squeeze the pelvic floor then and hold that there and feel that energy going up. Now, again, I'm going to talk you through all of this, but I wanted to kind of give you a primer just to kind of give you a heads up on what to expect. Now, movement. We want to get our body moving. We want to get the energy flowing and all of that. There's a couple of different ways we can do that before every breathing session, and we do recommend that you do something like this before every session. The neurobics is what we're going to go through today. And this is a series of movements, almost dance-like. But if you're weirded out about dance, just think of it as a series of movements to a rhythm that actually connect your left and right hemispheres of your brain. Because as you probably know, there's a left brain and a right brain, or a left brain and a right brain. And the left brain has control over what goes on over on the right, and vice versa. And some of us are more dominant one way or the other. And so these movements involve us crossing our hands and our feet over to the other side of the body in a coordinated way, which means that it might be a little bit tricky at first. So if you are going along with this, which I suggest that you do, and you're feeling a little lost or it gets confusing, that's normal. That's why we're doing these exercises. We're not expecting that you just right off the bat just follow along. It took me quite a while to kind of get the rhythm. And even as you'll see here in this recording that I'm going to share with you, the very first move, I'm like, oh, but then I get back into it. So if you ever get lost, just look at the screen and then just try to do your best to follow along. Now, the other choice that we could have done here are hypoxic exercises or anaerobic exercises. And what these are, just a series of exercises, squats, lunges, push-ups, things we know how to do, that we do while we're holding our breath. And so we're taking a deep breath. We're not doing a huge series of breaths beforehand. We're just taking in a deep breath and then doing these exercises and counting how many repetitions of each exercise we can do before we need to breathe again. What we're showing ourselves here is this really cool metric as to how we're using oxygen more efficiently in our body over time, because every day that you do this, you'll get a little bit better at it. But for right now, what I want you to do is get ready to do some movement here. Just find a space where you can move around a little bit, arm lengths or whatever like this, and just start marching along with the music here. We're going to start by moving our right elbow down to our right knee and then vice versa, just like this. So just try to keep up with this. You can see that we're alternating. And then after we do this for 16 beats, we're going to put our right hand down to our left foot, and then our left hand down to our right foot, just like this. You'll notice that the feet are going in front of the body now, and then at the end of this round, they're going to go to the back of the body. So again, it may be a little confusing and you may get flustered a little bit, but just try your best to keep up with this. This isn't too draining. We're not going to wear you out with this. It's just getting your brain talking. You see the foot there. And then after this, now we're going to kind of do sort of this line dance thing where we sway our arms to one side when we're kicking to the other side. So you can see if your arms are to the left, then your feet are to the right, just like this. And then after this round, we're going to go back and do the whole thing again, starting with the marching. Now, you can hear in the background some breathing going on. Ideally, you're going to want to breathe along with this. So you're going to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out like that. And that's going to keep you going in that rhythmic breathing. Again, that's a lot to keep up with. Now we're doing the elbows to the knees again, exactly like we started with before. So the next phase after this will be the right hand to the left foot, and then the left foot to the right, the left hand to the right foot, and so on. It's even hard to talk about. Just do your best. Keep that breathing going. Now behind. Trust me, this will get easier with time. You'll actually look forward to doing it. It does feel good once you get over the learning of it. And now we got the line dance going here. Now after this, we're going to cross our arms. Our left arm first, grabbing our right ear, and then our right arm over, grasping our left ear, and then squatting. Now I wanted to automatically cross my feet there, which you don't have to do, so I fixed that. So again, to the rhythm. Just keep it going. Now you're just going to breathe fully in, lifting your arms up, just taking your time, and then just with a sigh, slowly exhale. And then another deep breath in. Same thing, slow exhale with a sigh. And now we are just going to get ready to do some general moving and shaking, free-form dance, ecstatic dance, whatever you want to call it. We're going to shake it out of our bodies, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about how you look. This is a typical dance like no one is watching, just whatever feels good. Look, try to out-weird me. That's it. If you ever been to a Tony Robbins event, I know you've done this. Just keep it going. It feels good. It feels good. You got to admit it. Don't worry. We're going to recover when this is over. Just relax. Have a good time. Jump around. If you're with somebody, give them high fives. I clearly don't care what I look like. You shouldn't care what you look like. Just go for it. Go for it. Go for it. All right. Have fun with it, 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 have fun with it. Okay, now we are going to relax a little bit. Going to take it down any second now. Shaking it off a little. Just find a place to be. Last little shakes. Now we're doing this sort of cross-armed, cross-legged thing. Don't overthink this. You're just relaxing and breathing. Just breathe in and nice slow exhales. It'll bring your heart rate down. So inhale, slow exhales. Just bring that heart rate down and relax. No rush. Now switch your arms, tell your brain other things, and then just breathe it out. Okay, so now we're coming down from that. We're going to get right into the Om chanting. This syllable, Om, is actually divided into three. This word is divided into three syllables. Ah, U, and And when you verbalize these, when you vocalize these, you're going for very specific vibrations in your body. You're going to feel them in your body. So when you say ah, the first part ah, you want to feel the vibration in sort of in the area of your sexual organs, your lower dantian, that sexual energy part. You want to feel that ah down there. And when you go ooh, when you get to that part of the word, ooh, right, you want to feel the vibration here in your chest, in your heart center. And then as you move up to you're going to put your tongue, the tip of your tongue on the top, right behind your teeth, on the roof of your mouth, and sort of focus your energy on your sort of the third eye area here, and try to move the vibration up there. So it's the reason I'm turning my mic off when we do this is because my note will be different than your note to get that same vibration, which will probably be different than the note that we hear even here on this recording. So just get in a comfortable position and just breathe. We're going to start here in just a few minutes. It'll be beats of 4. So on each 4 beat, you will change the syllable that you're doing. We're going to start here in just a second. You're going to hear how it goes. And then breathe for 4 and get ready to do it again. You're vibrating at the lower. Ooh, right there in the middle. Right here. So just keep that cycle going. Breathing now and now. So just keep that cycle going until we're done. Really find that vibration. Okay, so now we are ready to get into the real deal. So please get comfortable. We're just going to start this right now. So I want you to sit up with your back straight or lie down with your arms by your side. Just be sure you won't be disturbed. And today we're going to turn our attention and our intention to the feeling of abundance. Now, some people think of abundance in terms of money only, while others intentionally avoid thoughts of money when it comes to abundance. So when you think of abundance, what's the feeling that comes over you? Does it feel good? Or are you challenged a bit? If tuning into the feeling of abundance is difficult for you, it's probably because you have some kind of wiring in your brain about money that isn't serving you. Perhaps you have a lifetime of limiting beliefs around money. Maybe you had a negative experience involving money. You may have a challenge imagining great abundance if it's not something you've ever financially experienced before. So today I invite you to look past the financial aspect of abundance. And instead I'll ask you to tune into the feeling that you would have if everything having to do with money was handled. Absolutely handled. And don't think about how. That's not important. Really just imagine an entire day with no thoughts or worries about your finances. Imagine waking up each day with infinite possibilities because everything is taken care of. Consider that the feeling that you're feeling right now is one of freedom or peace. A much deeper, meaningful feeling, ultimately, than just having a lot of money. We want to rewire your brain to associate thoughts of abundance with the feelings that you're really after. So build that feeling inside of yourself right now, as strongly as you can. And think of a short word or a short phrase that you can easily bring to mind to remind you of this feeling that you're having right now. And later, when we hold our breath, I invite you to use that word as sort of a touchstone to bring forth all of these amazing feelings and let that magic happen. Consider this: abundance, peace, freedom, and safety. It's all your birthright. There's nothing you need to earn or deserve. You have sprung forth from this ocean of energy that is the universe to have the human experience. It is through you that the universe experiences itself. And you have been gifted with this incredible brain with which you can literally create your experience of reality when you're wired to do so. And today, we begin to permeate your entire body with feelings of abundance and all related feelings. Now get ready to breathe in a rhythm. In through the nose, out through the mouth. That's right. breathing in and out in a consistent, smooth rhythm. No force is required. Just breathe with the rhythm. That's right. As you breathe, tune into those feelings associated with abundance and allow them to grow with every inhale as you breathe in abundance and out gratitude. And imagine that with every inhale, you are infusing your cells with energy that's growing with every breath and making you more and more attractive to the life you truly want. Just focus on the feelings rather than any external circumstance that might have created them. Allow yourself to just simply bask in the gratitude for the abundance that you are. Letting that energy build. Getting ready for our first breath hold. Take a deep breath fully in. Hold it, squeeze, and fully exhale. Let it all go, let it all go. And just hold your breath. Allow yourself to fall into a state of deep, deep relaxation and peace. Your life is a continuous series of inhales and exhales. So when you pause your breath, you pause your life. Your fragmented thoughts reassemble, quieting that mental clutter and allowing now this sense of freedom and clarity and joy. And if you get the urge to breathe, just take a quick sip and exhale, and then really sink back into a deep, deep meditative state as you continue to feel the cells of your body being saturated with oxygen. Enjoy this bliss. Feel free to take a second small sip of air, exhaling it all out if you need. And then when you feel that very, very strong urge to breathe, do your best to override that feeling. Push past your comfort zone. This is where lasting growth happens. Just allow the new wiring to be installed in your brain as you create new limits for what is possible. And when you can't wait anymore and you must take a breath, take a big, deep, full breath in. Hold it. Squeeze that pelvic floor, sending that energy up through your spine, into your brain, and imagine just sending that energy, along with all of your strong feelings and abundance, out into the universe, seeking its vibrational match, and just hold this breath for as long as it's comfortable. And when you can't hold your breath any longer, just let it go with a sigh. And just return for a moment to your normal breathing. And let's get ready again to breathe in a rhythm. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out. Remember that the universe is infinitely expanding. Growth and infinite abundance are the very nature of the universe. You are a part of this universe, an amazing part. You have the incredible ability to experience the energy that surrounds us in physical form. It's an experience of the senses. When we're in a flow, we feel good. When we leave that flow, we experience feelings that are unpleasant. This is simply the universe's way of showing us that we can make some adjustments in our way of being in order to more enjoy the human experience. We exist so that the universe can experience itself in this unique way. So it stands to reason that it would be the desire of this creative intelligence for us to thrive, to do the things about which we are the most passionate, to create the best and most exhilarating feeling for itself. There is nothing you need to earn or deserve. You are an intentional, energetic offspring of the creative intelligence that has created absolutely everything in divine order. You have everything you need to create the life of abundance that you want. You simply need to claim it through who you are being. Keep it going. You're doing great. Keep it going. Coming up now on our second breath hold. Get ready. Now take a breath fully in.
Fully in. Fully out.
Back into the stillness. Floating in this deep meditative state. Feel the deep connection to everything. Bring to mind the word or short phrase you created earlier, and allow those feelings of abundance now to permeate your cells along with the oxygen that you're releasing right now. See if you can override the first urge to breathe. Count down from 10. And then if you still need to breathe, take a quick sip in and out and settle back in. Tune into your body. See if you can direct the flow of oxygen simply with your thoughts. Then, when you get that next big urge to breathe, take a full breath in, squeeze, shooting that energy up as you hold your breath in. Imagine this energy penetrating your midbrain, illuminating the higher power that is always there for you. And hold this breath for as long as you can, sending out your new intentions into the universe while rewiring your brain for effortless and automatic thoughts of abundance. And when you can't hold your breath any longer, let it out with a sigh and just relax back into your normal breathing. Starting today, you embrace your natural state of abundance as an extension of our infinitely abundant universe. At any time, you can bring to mind your word or phrase to lock back into those feelings, the feelings that are your natural state. Abundance is who you are. Peace is who you are. Freedom, safety. To experience these feelings, you simply incorporate them into your being. Through this practice, you will increasingly fortify your abundance wiring, and you will naturally evolve your way of being into alignment with the life you truly want. And as you go through your day, become aware of the opportunities to be in alignment with the you that you truly wish to be. Sending you much love, positive energy, and peace.